All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, YouTube. Pretty much in today's video, I'm going to go over some of the price action that we're seeing today, and I'm also going to touch briefly on the new basis point rate hike of the Fed, because this is something that I covered a lot leading up to the last few meetings, and I said that they were kind of going to come in a little soft compared to what they should, because they've pretty much been behind this whole movement ever since last year when they were telling us that the inflation wasn't transitory. I don't know if you guys remember that. So I'm going to touch on that later in this video. And let's see here. Can everyone hear me? Oh, okay. I was about to say, don't. Very funny. I was about to panic. I was like, I always check my audio. And the day I don't say, can you hear me? There's no audio. I was about to freak out. Yeah, not funny. Well, okay, but I appreciate you. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at book map and get an idea of where we're pretty much our support is, which is very strong, still underneath us. That support is literally building underneath us, and the shorts have backed off. But we're going to compare this over the series of charts to make sure that everything is aligning up properly. So as we can see, Doge is pretty much right here at around like 13.7 or so. We did have that little temporary breakdown to around 12, but as we talked about yesterday, the support was there, the buy orders were there, and if we did get that breakdown, it should be something similar to like a flash crash, where once we touch those levels, those orders are going to fill, and we're going to get the bounce back up, and that's pretty much what happened. And as you can see here, the shorts have backed off. This is kind of what the sell orders, more so what the heat map is saying, is that the shorts have backed off. We're going to check that on the short chart here to kind of confirm that. But it's also saying that the floor beneath us is building up, and those buy orders are becoming more aggressive here at around the 13.5 range. And this is pretty much heating up down here. And we also see that there's the gap is there. That's if we did get that breakdown, negative catalyst, whatever the case may be, the orders are strong again here at around like 12.6. So, but as you can see, like right here, the buy orders are really coming in strong at around the like 13.5 range. So this is kind of going to be our range here for the next 24 hours. So if we were to get a breakdown or a sell off, those orders are going to fill, and this should pretty much hold us up here for the next day or so. Pretty much same as yesterday. If we do get that breakdown to, well, even now, I'll say that these buy orders are so strong here, especially with this being dark red, that it's highly unlikely that at least I say like on the hour here, it's highly unlikely that we would break through, and those buy orders would not be enough to kind of catch those sell orders. But in the event that we did, we have more support building down here at around 12.6. So similar price action to what we've seen over the last 24 hours. If we do get a breakdown, we're going to get that bounce back up, and we're kind of going to hang out here and then around the 13-cent range, because I don't see a negative catalyst having enough pressure to push us down just yet. So let's confirm this with I'm going to switch over the charts here before I switch screens. Let's confirm this with Dogecoin shorts, because technically we've seen a rally today with the market after kind of like the Fed announcement and the new basis point rate hike. And typically we know that if there is a rally in Dogecoin, typically that indicates that the shorts have backed off, because normally you know how much they wake up and they pretty much subscribe to Dogecoin positive news, and we see where the shorts have kind of like backing off. Oh, what's this? The shorts have backed off finally. Absolutely, Christopher. That's exactly what I just saw your comment. That's exactly what I'm getting to. Yeah, so we see the shorts are backing off, and we're going to, I'm going to switch screens here so you guys can see. Wait 1 sec. And you should be able to see. Yep. Okay. Perfect. So we see here that This is for today. We're building up the ones for like tomorrow. But as you can see, this is a big red candle here where the shorts have literally pretty much went down below their 21-day moving average. So Dogecoin is, I don't want to say that it's free right now, but as of right now, Dogecoin's movement is really, really, I can say it can move very fluid, right? It's very natural right now. Now, shorts, again, they move very quickly when there's positive news. So this is certainly something that you keep an eye on in the short term. But Dogecoin is literally free right now. It's fluid. And the price action that we're seeing here is pretty much natural to the buy and sell orders. And this is technically, we've seen that it didn't, that's one of the reasons that we see, we're going to take a look at the chart, but we'll see that this is one of the reasons why we got the green candle today. And it's kind of unaffected. We didn't have that strong resistance on the way up or this tickering around like that 12.5 range. We had that flash crash and we're able to bounce back up because we see that let me see if I can zoom in here. Oh, no, didn't mean to move that. I'm going to click off of here. And let's see, this is the year to date. Yeah. So we see that Doge, yeah, so this is, oh, here we go. This is pretty much today here. I'm going to circle it. And we had this, it was a decent candle, a very long wick, but it did break above our 21-day moving average. So as of right now, over the previous 21 days, over the previous 21 days, Dogecoin shorts are relatively low. So based off of like the next, I say 24, 48 hours, if we get any positive catalyst, we're going to be able to see the full effect of that, unless obviously shorts run back in, but I'll let you guys know. And then we're going to take a look here at the actual price of Dogecoin to see the effect. And as you can see, we're rallying 1363 right now. And Dogecoin, we got this big green, well, decent sized green candle. And we are pretty much on par right now to straighten out our 21-day moving average. The 21-day moving average is this yellow line here. The purple is the 72. As we talked about yesterday, the way the charts were trending, it was a very, very bearish move. And that's why I said that we could have that flash crash down to 12.5, but then we bounce back up. That's exactly what happened. We did get the bounce. And as you can see, this green candle here, we pretty much stopped the falling of the 21-day moving average. So now this is kind of like a straight line, and we're already building another green candle here to pretty much break above the 21 and go up and test that 72-day moving average. So we're literally pretty much changing the trend here. So this is really good in the short term here. So that's the confirmation we have on the 3 charts here for Doge. So I want to talk about kind of what we've seen today as far as the basis points and the Feds, and then I'll take some questions as always. So as we've been talking about the Fed movements over like the past few months and really since last year, they're pretty much trending behind the efforts that I believe that they need to kind of get in front of inflation, right? First, it was inflation is transitory. Then it was the 0.25, which we felt like it wasn't going to be good enough. And then now we're at the point, pretty much the half a point, the 0.50, which I also still believe is not going to be good enough. And, they're saying, oh, well, we're not entertaining 0.75. And remember, they weren't entertaining 0.50, but here we are. So we kind of have to keep that in mind going forward, that as they raise these rates, we're going to see, money is pretty much going to become more expensive. It's not going to be as cheap as it was before when it comes down to borrowing money, mortgages, auto loans, the rate at which the bank gets it. This is when we're going to start seeing the domino effect pretty much throughout the economy. So this is one of the things that we spoke on that can cause like the vacuum out of the economy, as a lot of these institutions and these over leveraged positions, shorts and stuff like that, where they were able to keep borrowing money and pay interest on these highly leveraged positions. It's going to become a lot more expensive for them. So this may kind of ticker toward the likelihood of pretty much a big rebalancing of portfolios, which can send some pretty strong shockwaves throughout the market. So that's kind of just something to keep an eye on here over the next 30 days or so, especially as we get our CPI numbers month over month and kind of see where we're trending. So I'm going to take a few questions here and then we'll wrap up. I'm going to try and keep this at around 20 minutes. I know I made it, these videos, I know they can go a little long. I'm going to try and keep it around 20 minutes. So you made it. Welcome, welcome. Glad you made it. Let's see. Brooklyn, New York. Respect to David. Awesome videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. This is my local news. Thank you. Appreciate you. If you haven't yet, or if you found value in the, I guess the more stringent part of the video, certainly like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. Let's see. It wasn't a huge red day. It wasn't. No, today was actually really good, and the markets responded pretty well from the Fed news. So very, very, very good, pretty much response for today. Let's see, where are you finding the short chart? This is why I use TradingView. So this is where I use like the short chart, the heat map and stuff like that. It's book map. I have links in my description if you want to see some of the programs I use. Thanks for the informative videos. No problem. The days I don't say you can hear me, huh? Yeah, they did get me. They did. Some of the articles from yesterday and today were indicating that Doge was in the doghouse and to be there for a long while. Then they asked if Doge could pull itself from the doghouse. Yeah, I saw those articles, and that's one of the reasons. I'm not sure if you saw the video from yesterday, but that's one of the reasons I went over the pools of liquidity, and I kind of start with that because I wanted to show you guys that if we did get that breakdown, like kind of where the range we would hit and where we should see a bounce. And it just so happens that that literally just worked out completely. But yeah, I saw those kind of informations too. So that's one of the reasons I see articles, but then I kind of go to the charts to kind of see if they're, hinting at that, because we know that media and articles, depending on where it's coming from, typically they have an agenda. So, kind of like what I always say here, trust but verify. So that's kind of I saw that. So that's kind of the reason why I went to the charts and shared it with you guys, so you guys can get like more in-depth information. The exchanges are shorting the Doge. Absolutely, absolutely. I talk about this a lot on Twitter. Made a few videos. Get your coins off of these exchanges. If you're not trading, if you're long term, you should not have coins on exchanges. Like, they're going to double dip. They're going to make money from them, and those coins will be used to short, and that counts pretty much as negative price action against the coins that you're holding. The exchanges, they don't care. They're making money when you buy, when you sell. They're getting their lending percentage, their interest and stuff like that on these shorts. They do not care about the price action of the coin. So unless you're trading, there's not a real reason to have your coins on an exchange. Let's get our coins off of the exchanges on heart. Absolutely, Alex. Let's see. Sorry, my chat just refreshed. Did Jerome buy the dip? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm looking at some articles right now that has Jerome included, and they're pretty much buying into all of the things that the Fed was going to buy. Typically that's how politics work, because they know what they're going to vote on and where the government's going to inject money. So it's they kind of can normally capitalize off of that. So I've been reading some articles. I may do a video on that. I don't know. I try not to get too political on here, but that is certainly, I'll say sneaky. I'll say that. Let's see. Do you think Doge will reach its highest levels that it did in the past? Yeah. No, we haven't seen the best of Doge. We haven't. Let's see. What kind of retrace should we be expecting? As of right now, we're pretty good. Because we have to pretty much, even the rate hikes and the fact that we're no longer in QE, we have to give this some time to kind of cycle, because typically it's not that. It doesn't typically have that immediate action. What's normally immediate in the market is emotions, right? So as far as for the actual fundamentals and the numbers coming in and causing tightening and stuff like that, this takes some time. We literally been off of QE about 30 days, right? We were getting to the tune of like $130 billion a month. We weaned it starting in January at $30 billion a month down. April pretty much marked I say mid-April, marked the end of QE. So we are off of the economy is off of steroids. We're pretty much, I won't say we're free falling, but we're looking to stabilize. If you watch the meeting today, you see that they are pretty much trying to push for a softer landing. And they're really doing, as far as for not shocking the markets, they're actually doing a pretty good job because they're not leaking information, but they are talking about like the 0.50 point basis point rate hike. We mentioned that like a couple weeks ago. We saw that we started seeing articles, them kind of discussing it. And this is really just a really non-direct way of kind of pricing it in, right? Because if we know that's talking about it, it kind of gives you like a few weeks to kind of like the market to kind of like adjust. So it's not like this big shocker that, oh, okay, what we said last month isn't working. We need to be more aggressive, because that's really what it is. Every time they come out and change something, it's really them saying like, oh, we got it wrong. It's not working. It's not aggressive enough. Inflation is transitory. Turns out it's not. We're going to need to raise interest rates. 0.25 should be good. Turns out it's not. We need to raise interest rates. So this is kind of where we are now. And by them kind of talking, it kind of gives you an idea of them pricing it in. But if we get this vacuum into the market, then there's a rebalancing of portfolios, then some of those lower support levels are going to come into play. For Bitcoin, that's going to be like in the 20,000s. When for Doge, that'll be at around 6 cents. But as I mentioned yesterday, the community decides where the brakes are pumped on that. At some point, it'll become oversold, and the community will come together and say, "This is such a great deal. Let me start buying right now." And you'll see like that downward pressure start to kind of like flatten out, and you'll get some positive buying pressure going in the opposite direction. So I don't believe that we'll bottom out at those numbers unless things like got really, really bad, or we're going into like literally a terrible like recession. But we can see the levels where we can certainly see levels lower than where we are now. For Doge, I think we'll see a lot of positive buying pressure at around 8 to 10 cents if we get that vacuum out of the economy. Bitcoin, I think we're going to see a really aggressive price action once we break below 30,000. So it's hard you can't really chart where the community and where the people are going to come in and be like, oh, this is a great deal. But I think that based off of the charts, I don't think we'll necessarily hit those bottom ranges unless we're in a prolonged recession, which is just really bad, because technically that means that people are liquidating assets because they need it for other things, more immediate expenses, and the saving for the future and investing for the future is not as lucrative, because okay, I need to figure out something for right now, and that's a whole nother situation, and most of these charts will be useless at that point. So so those are kind of like the bottom numbers. I've done videos on the bottom numbers if you want like a more in-depth explanation. It should sit on the thumbnail, like the bottom numbers or something like that, if you want to kind of just see a video dedicated to that. Paul, hello, how are you? Thank you. I say I will like it even though I just got here. I'll watch it later. Your outlook is golden. Thank you. I appreciate you. So I'm just catching up here. Love from Hong Kong. Enjoying my morning coffee and some great insight. Thank you. I appreciate you. Although the percentage was up by 0.5, the markets took well so far. Absolutely. Yeah, so far. Because technically we have two choices. If we're looking at more expensive money, and these companies, these institutions, the market in itself needs to kind of rebalance, they have two options to make money. Both of them involve selling, right? To rebalance their portfolios. You can either sell immediately and take profit, and in front of panic, if especially if you see retailers panicking and stuff like that, or you can pump the market and pretty much attract new money into the market, because they'll say, oh, okay, well, the market's strong, the economy's strong, get some of that new money coming in, because they'll believe we are at the bottom and they don't want to miss out on the next bull run. They come in, pump the market up some more for you, and then you sell And it's pretty much those are kind of like the most immediate ways to generate revenue. And I tell people the market does not go on bull runs when there is uncertainty. Even though so far the market has taken this well, we have not solved the issues, right? Inflation has not been solved. Just because the market hasn't sold off, until we actually get some downward pressures and start getting some downward CPI numbers and stuff like that, and until you actually start seeing the pretty much the effect of these CPI numbers coming down, like whether that's gas prices, food, whatever, um, the issue hasn't been solved. So you kind of have to take that into effect and say, oh, okay, well, before this, I can say this is over, or we're going to take off to the next bull run. Kind of keep that in mind that despite how the market is reacting, or there's just because there's a sell-off yet, look at the macro and say that, okay, these issues have not been solved yet. So I'm just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing your rebalancing. Typically, I always would say, invest a little bit, give yourself an opportunity to really buy the dip, just because you see these little dips, because I know it's very common to be like, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And then when the real dip gets here, nobody has any more money because they bought all the little dips. So, just kind of keep that in mind going forward. Anything below 20 cents, I'm buying Dogecoin every paycheck. Yeah, that's my thing. I like anything below 19, 20. Yeah, man, you're right in there with me. Let's see. Random question. Since I haven't seen any, there any news on Doge One Rocket? I imagine that'll lead to 50 to 80 cents based on hype alone. I've seen some stuff for like June 1st, right around like Kennedy Space Center. I'm pretty sure as we get closer, we'll get confirmations and stuff like that, because when it comes down to rocket launches and stuff like that, those things do get moved around. But as from what I last checked and what I last heard, it was around like June 1st at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. So, we can certainly see some positive price action for Doge based off of that. It'll certainly be a really great marketing campaign and a great way to make history as well. And I wouldn't say we're going to get 50 to 80 cents, because we have to keep in mind we can have a lot of positive buying pressure, but we have to keep in mind that the people that are coming in to Doge, especially around that time, we're going to have a lot of short-term people in there. We're going to have traders come in very heavily during that time, and they're going to sell. We're also going to have shorts come in there to just simply try and kill momentum. So just kind of keep that in mind when you are basing your expectations on this, because not everybody is going to come in that's going to be long-term, because I think that for the most part, people that are long-term, they already are in Doge, and we're just simply building the community to have utility. Most of that hype that's coming in here is going to disappear relatively just as quickly as it came in. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's see. Can we get Dogecoin that costs the 0.87 this year? It's possible, but we're gonna need to fix some things in the economy first. Unless we get like some really big catalysts or utility or something like that. Really big campaigns and stuff like that on something like a Twitter or McDonald's. Otherwise, we're going to need to kind of fix some things in the overall economy. Let's see. Not if you are trading, you are holding long term. You should research hardware wallets. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. Like if if you're holding long term, you should have that in pretty much in a cold wallet, whatever, put it in your nano, but just off of exchanges. If you're trading or whatever, if you're short term, or if you have a certain percentage that's short term, then if you want to keep that on the brokerage, okay, fine, I get it, because you're going to need to be able to execute with speed. And I know it's an extra step if you don't have it on there. I get it, but if you're long term, yeah, definitely get it off of the exchanges. So exactly, David. I mean, there will be more Fed rate hikes coming up this year. It'll be interesting to see what happens down the road. Yeah, we see, because typically they wanted to do a series of like the 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, and we're already seeing after one, it's not working. They're like, this isn't aggressive enough. So we're going to have to be very strategic with pretty much like with money allocation and who and what we're listening to going forward this year. So. Because I do believe we're going to see several rate hikes, and Typically, just as they said with point 50, they were like, we're not entertaining point 50. I saw the headlines today as Jerome was talking, we're not entertaining point 75. It's not in our thoughts right now, and all that kind of stuff like that. We'll see. We will see, because I knew point 25 wasn't going to be enough. And the only thing that's alarming for me is they've been behind this whole inflation thing for about a year now. Again, transitory point 25 will be enough. Tapering with the money coming with the QE, and now point 50. They've been behind this whole time. So yeah, we certainly have some interesting news coming out later this year. Absolutely. That is for certain. Let's see. Is Webull an exchange? Yes, Webull does crypto as well. Again, if you are, it's just that's in my personal opinion. But if you are not trading, you should have your own keys. That's just my personal opinion. Because we crypto doesn't have the same options as the stock market, right? You can turn off share lending. God knows if it works or not, but technically in the stock market, you can turn off share lending, and so that your shares aren't used to short against you, pretty much. In crypto, that's not really an option, but we do have a unique advantage, and we have the advantage to be able to take our crypto from the exchange altogether. You can't do that in the stock market. So we kind of have to play to our strengths here as a community if we don't want to pretty much fuel shorts. Because as of right now, with the amount of coins that the community is holding on these exchanges, we're pretty much fueling the fire that's being used to burn us. And we have to kind of just be mindful of that before we start just calling out shorts and stuff like that, because if we're going to combat them, we kind of have to remove the ammunition. And that's the reason why I've been making the videos. That's the reason why been making a Twitter post to kind of just educate people and say, hey, if you're long term, HODL, if you truly believe that, just kind of have your own keys, and it will. If we do this in large enough numbers, you will certainly see benefits. And if these exchanges, if they're hell bent on shorting or lending out these coins because they need the revenue, that's fine. Make them go buy their coins on the open market. Don't use the community. Don't piggyback off of us because we're holding our coins on your exchange to lend them out. If you want to lend out your coins, if you want to make extra revenue, go compete on the open market and you buy them at current prices. I just think that that'll be better for the community long term in our goals and agendas. Let's see, what happens to your average if you move your Doge from an exchange to a hard wallet? Nothing technically happens to your average. Your average is your average. You may just have to, depending on what wallet you're using and stuff like that, you may just have to kind of calculate it yourself. But your average is your average. And if you're really long term, what's going to matter the most is coin count. Average is cute. Average, your average, it kind of it makes you feel good. If you got in at 3 cents or something like that. But your multiplier when it comes down to revenue and what kind of money you're working with is going to be in how many coins you have. 1,000% is great, but if you got 50 coins versus 50,000, would you rather 50 coins at 1,000% or 50,000 coins at 400%, right? So it just really just kind of depends on how you're playing the coin. So your average technically doesn't change. It just may not be displayed as the whatever exchange you're using. Like it will just say your average cost or whatever. But you can kind of keep an eye. You can kind of just keep record of you bought this many coins at this price, this many coins at this price. A little old school way, but your crypto is yours and it won't be being used against you. Banks and such will be capitalizing on the hike. Stay safe, do your research. Absolutely. Doge mission will launch. The last I heard, June 1st. 600,000 spent in Doge to acquire a Big Three basketball team, and the team will have a Doge emblem on the jersey. Yeah, I heard something about that with Ice Cube and stuff like that. Yeah, I haven't looked into it greatly, but yeah, I've seen the articles and I heard about that. Yeah, expansion, utility, publicity, like all great news for Doge. Like this is all great news for Doge. Like so, the more people get familiar with Dogecoin being used as the currency, the better. So I have nothing against it. I locked up a bunch of coins on Webull, and I've been holding them there because I don't want to sell for a loss. Yeah, no, I understand. This is one. I mean, you can, because I have Doge on several platforms. I mean, even outside of my, my wallet and stuff like that, you can not necessarily have to kind of like sell because for a while the majority of my Doge was on Robinhood, simply because that's simply where I started buying Dogecoin. But you can always, either start buying on a different platform or just buying one on a platform that you can simply transfer to, your cold wallet. The coins on Webull, outside them building up a wallet or something like that, so you're able to transfer it, you can just simply hold them on there because there's nothing you can do. But if you're looking to, increase your coin count or something like that, just by all means, just do that somewhere else. Like I was showing the last guy, yeah, DCA's Q, and you can be like, oh, well, I can bring my average down and stuff like that. You're still bringing your average down. Like if you have coins in different places, they're still your coins. It's just not going to put them together and say your average is down, but your average is still coming down. Those are still your coins. So just don't kind of be discouraged if you have to kind of break up your investments a little bit. Let's see. Sorry, my chat is refreshing. See, do you think Elon will let us spend Doge on Twitter? Absolutely. I believe that is a real thing, and I believe that's coming for sure. Webull is the worst. Your buy limits get canceled every day after hours. Yeah, Webull has been infamous for those buy order shuffles and stuff like that, or sell orders too. Sell orders too. So Robinhood does it occasionally, but yeah, Webull certainly does stuff like that. I like when you answer my questions without me asking and feeling and looking dumb. No, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, we all learn together, so we're fine. So there's a taxable profit when you move coins to a cold wallet from exchange. So I'm gonna start that with saying I'm not a CPA. Please check your local laws. Not sure where you're at and stuff like that. But an exchange is not the same as taking profits. Transferring is not the same as taking profits. So it's been my experience that I haven't had to, but again, don't know where you're at, your local laws. So you kind of have to kind of check or verify that. Do you think it will go below 0.05 cents? I highly doubt that. Something terrible like in the macro would have to go wrong in order for that to happen. Um, something terrible would have to happen for those to go below 5 cents. Because once we get around 5 cents or below 5 cents, that's like where most of my average is. I probably just buy more anyway. I doubt I'd freak out because this whole me getting in that early has allowed me to be because the entry is very important, but me being getting in that early has allowed me to be really comfortable and be strategic about where I buy in now and my averages because obviously no matter where I buy now, I'm technically averaging up. But those prices, I for certain, I probably just buy a lot more and try and keep my average around that price point. But I don't know what, but something terrible in the macro would have to be going on for us to get that type of sell off because Doge is still around a little over like 17 billion right now. Us getting cut in half again would put us below $10 billion. So yeah, I don't know what would happen to cause that type of vacuum, but I doubt it. Wow, from sunny South Florida. There we go. When could we see 15 cents? We should see 15 cents like now. If shorts stay like non-existent where we are, we'll see 15 cents within a few days. But typically we'll see kind of shorts kind of keep us like below that range. But it's in my opinion, because Dogecoin being as held as it is, and with the buying pressure, I think the Doge should be probably around like 23, 24 cents. But if shorts stay down like where they are now, like pretty much like non-existent, we'll see 15 cents within the next few days. But we'll have to kind of see how that goes. David, do you think Elon will someday charge for EV charging stations, and if he'll incorporate Doge? Um, as right now, I don't see him doing. I think right now it's probably just to make it more available. That could obviously change, but I think that now it'll probably just be just making it more accessible, like around the country and stuff like that. And he seems pretty adamant as far as for incorporating Doge on his ventures. So I can certainly see him doing something like that to kind of incorporate Doge. Around what price do you think Doge should be at right now without the shorts? Yeah, around like 23, 24 cents, probably even 25, but I'll say 23, 24, just because of the historic averages and where shorts had to kind of come in to create some of these sell-offs and get these downward trends that we're seeing right now. So I say probably around like 23, 24 cents. This kind of like, this is why I say it's like artificially suppressed. And I give out these numbers a lot. I give out a lot of numbers actually on my Twitter account. So even today, I broke down the numbers because people were tagging me and saying that, oh, well, Doge is dead and the inflation of Doge and stuff like that. And I broke down all the numbers mathematically, stating that even with Doge's annual 5 billion coins added to the year, we have a little over 4 million holders of Dogecoin. That pretty much averages out to be at these prices at around $162. Before that, and that's $162 average per person over the course of a year would cancel out all new Dogecoins minted. Like, so that whole inflationary crap, we are fine. That is not an issue. And I broke those numbers down mathematically, and I have my Twitter handle on here if you guys want those numbers, because typically I try and just get a little more detailed on my Twitter account. I'll put my handle in the chat right now. But if you want those numbers and stuff like that on a frequent basis, you can just follow me there. How can we fight back against shorts? Excellent question. Another topic I dive deeply into on Twitter. You have to remove your coins from the exchanges. Like, that is their bread and butter. They make a fortune lending these coins out and getting interest paid to them. Make them go on the open market and buy coins to short. We have to remove those coins from the exchanges, because we have, I did some math here. It's on my Twitter account. I have to remember, but I said that there's roughly around 135 billion Dogecoin right now. And I did the math, and I forget what the numbers are, but it's not that impressive. I want to say it's, I don't know, like, I think maybe like 20, I want to say at the most 30,000, but it's not a lot of, well, even the dollar amount, I think it's like $4,000. Like, if everybody that invested in Dogecoin had about $4,000 in Dogecoin right now, there would be no Dogecoin available to buy. That would be all of it, right? And so in those positions and stuff like that, I'm not saying that you should try and do that to do like a short squeeze or whatever the case may be, but that's just letting you know that this is not something that there is a tremendous amount, like trillions of Dogecoin or something like that. There are only 4 million holders. Imagine 10 million holders of Dogecoin, 15 million holders of Dogecoin, 20 million Dogecoin holders, right? So these numbers are not a big deal right now. So this is something that you can easily do to kind of fight back against shorts, which is, remove those numbers, remove them from the exchanges, and simply, pretty much just keep doing what we're doing. Because the only thing that's really hurting us right now, in my opinion, is the fact that Dogecoin is being stored on the exchanges, and the exchanges are like, oh my God, this is great. Over 65% of all wallets have Dogecoin in it. This is great that they're holding. When these brokerages go on Twitter and go on YouTube and they see everybody saying hold, that's great. They're like, oh my God, yes, please hold forever. We're going to lend the hell out of your shares and your coins. Yeah, you keep holding, and we're going to keep lending, and we're going to make money either way, right? So that's what we need to do to kind of like fight back against with shorts here, because if we take enough coins from them and they don't collect those coins back, that's how you get, that's how these exchanges get put into situations. How can you explain it so it can be understood? For as long as the exchanges have our Doge, they will continue to short our Doge. I think I just did. I know that you typed this a little earlier, but I hope that you kind of checked in with that. So glad you're on tonight. Just tuning in. What's the rate hike? What you expected? Absolutely. I think we may even get 0.75, but they may go with back to back with the 0.50. But I knew that 0.25 was going to be like nothing. I knew that was not going to work. Yeah, definitely hit the like button if you found any value in the video tonight. So what's the equation to average our coins? It's on my Twitter, I believe. I'll post it on there because I'm going to do some more like equations and stuff tomorrow. I don't know if you have a Twitter or not, but 'cause I have like a sheet. I don't have it with me now, but where I break down like all the coins, and I'm doing some like on a per hour basis and stuff like that. So I'll have all those posted just so we can kind of get an idea. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely it went over. But if you found any value tonight, like please subscribe to the channel. We are pushing for closing in on 40,000 subs. So I appreciate you guys. Like the video, share the video so this information can get out to as many people as possible. I think that it is very beneficial with all I'm not gonna say crap, but with a lot of the other stuff that's out there. I think that we can kind of just get like some factual information out to the community so that we can grow and be better together and move forward as a unit. So if you guys can do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. As far as the heat map, I know what charts I use, all that kind of stuff. That's all in the description. So other than that, I will see you guys on Twitter in between, and I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a good night.